Hey folks, here's another Mental Health Fridays edition. This will be a long one. It's about an article my wife sent me that's titled, Wall Street Banker Dead at 35 Wanted New Job Over Grueling 100-Hour Work Weeks. Yeah, it's pretty sad. Apparently he died from a blood clot. 35 years old, worked at Bank of America. He was an investment banker, former Green Beret, and he was working more than 100 hours a week according to the report. Leo Lucanus III, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name properly. 100 hours a week. I mean, that is just insane. He was working with a recruitment agency, Gray Fox Recruitment, with a man by the name of Douglas Walters. Lucanus contacted him saying, I want to get out of Bank of America. I need a different job. Didn't see his family very much. I mean, how could you? There's only 24 hours in a day. He asked Walters whether it was normal to put 110 hours of work a week. Walters said that consistently putting in such longers was unusual even for Wall Street standards. And Lucanus made a comment saying, hey, I'll trade hours of sleep for a 10% pay cut. I mean, guys, I really feel for this guy and his family. I can't stress enough how important it is to set boundaries early on. And if those boundaries aren't respected, it's time to move on. Simply put, your life is not worth any job, I think. Unless you are doing something where you're actually putting your life on the line. I can't really comment on that, but that's obviously different. But working in finance, working at, for me, radio, all sorts of other jobs where, look, it's great to want to be productive. It's all about balance. You got to have a balanced life. Said that Lucanus' death ignited a fierce backlash on social media, particularly among Wall Street workers who say a toxic culture that forces employees to log exceedingly long hours remains pervasive. Bank of America employees have taken to social media platforms, including Wall Street Oasis, where they have discussed a possible walkout as part of an effort to bargain for better working conditions. I think they should. 100 hours a week, that's insane. That is crazy. It's not sustainable, and it's time for corporate America to give a shit about their employees. There's a human element. Life cannot be solely about work and about producing for the company. But also, anybody knows that it's just good for business. You can't burn your people out. Things start to slip. They make mistakes. In a culture, in a corporate culture where there are a lot of high performers and there aren't many human resources. I was always afraid if I work all night and don't show up to the morning meeting, but other people who also worked all night and then show up to the morning meeting, when it comes time for bonuses and salary raises, there's always a fear that I'm going to be treated differently. That can affect your finances. Companies have record high profits. And I get it. A company is there to make money. That's why companies exist. That's why capitalism exists. To make as much money as you can. But if you're getting more and more work and there are more projects and more initiatives that are going to drive the success of the company, you need to spend the money for the right amount of resources to handle the work. That's it. You can't expect people to work 12, 16-hour days, 20-hour days all the time. It's insane. That's where corporate America fails. I'm not shocked, but sad to see this article. It says, so far workers have remained at their desks in part because they fear retribution for raising concerns about the toxic culture. There are also no plans to investigate complaints as junior bankers are forced to put in 100-hour weeks. Prior to his death, he had been working on a $2 billion merger that was completed earlier this month. He was a member of an organization called 51 Vets, a nonprofit dedicated to connecting transitioning and transition veterans from elite military communities with leading businesses. Lucanus said, 51 Vets completely changed the trajectory of my post-military career. Outstanding organization with an incredible mission. There is a fundraiser for his family launched by 51 Vets if you are interested in donating to that. I'll put the link to this article and a link to the fundraiser in the post. Leo left behind his wife and 2 young children. He spent over a decade in Army Special Operations, deploying multiple times with the 1st Special Forces Group. He was dedicated in everything he did, never settling for good enough. He always set the example and held himself to the highest standards, prioritizing the team and mission success over himself. Wall Street has grappled for years with overwork among junior staff. Some firms have adopted measures such as increasing pay, holding workshops, and forbidding work on Saturdays or periodic weekends. Here are my thoughts on that. Just me, I don't care about increased pay. It's balance. What good is increased pay if your health is affected by the amount that you work? It can't all be about money. Holding workshops. That is not helpful. Holding workshop. You're already working enough. Now I got to attend a workshop? No. Hire more people. Spend more money. That's what companies need to do. They need to spend the right amount of money to handle the work. That's what they need to do. Bank of America is among the banks that do not permit junior bankers to work Saturdays unless an exception is sought, according to current and former employees. The bank reviewed its working culture in 2013 in the wake of an intern in London dying of epilepsy after working through nights. I don't know what else I can say. Do better, corporate America. Still gonna make a lot of money. Companies will still make record profits. They just need to spend more on human resources. They need to carefully weigh the amount of work that is being done, the amount of work necessary, and spend money on the right amount of resources. I don't know what else can be done. You just can't expect your people to work constantly. The big takeaway here is don't be afraid to set boundaries. Don't be afraid to enforce boundaries, because people will not respect them all the time, and it's up to you to make sure they do. And sometimes moving on is the best solution. It's not worth your health. That's it.